All right. Well, welcome everybody to Breaching the Boardroom. I am your host, David Mauro, and in the studio today is Stacy Richter, CEO of LiveLingua. Look, have you ever wished your team could really truly connect with customers across borders? A lot of us have, right? And just to, going beyond just translating the words in that communication, but the actual meaning, actually be able to resonate with customers and with teammates across borders. Or have you ever wondered what actually happens when culture, communication, and leadership collide in a multilingual world? So today we're joined by Stacy Richter, founder and CEO of LiveLingua. It's livelingua.com, a company that's rethinking how humans connect across languages, offering personal language learning and corporate second language trainings. He's built a global team that lives and breathes communication long before AI tried to automate it. We'll talk leadership without borders, lessons learned from scaling remote culture, and how clarity beats fluency every time. So let's dive in. Stacey, welcome to the studio.
Awesome. Hey, really nice to be here, David. And I just want to make one small correction. I am not the founder. I am a proud CEO working with the founder team. I'm super excited, but it is a complete team effort. But I'm super excited to be here on Breaching the Boardroom with you today.
I am happy to get you in trouble with your partners there. So sorry about it. Please accept my apology, but
Yeah, no worries.
the intent is good. So
Yes.
So tell us, like, what's your background? Like, did you, when you were a kid, some kids want to be Superman, some want to be Batman. Like, were you like, I'm going to develop a multicultural language model online? Obviously, no, because it didn't even exist then. Like, how did you fall into this field or develop a passion for it?
You know what, David? I'm Canadian, so one of our dreams as little boys is always play professional hockey.
Yes,
And
of course.
I realized early on in my early teens I was not going to be playing in the NHL.
That's
And
fair.
and so my story starts pretty similar to most entrepreneurs, right? We grow up and we're told to go to school, get good grades, come out of school, get a great career job, work at that career for most of your life, and then hopefully you retire with enough money and your house is paid off, and you're living the retirement dream. And that's exactly what I did. I went to school. I did an undergraduate degree in Bachelor of Commerce, which had a split major in information systems and marketing. So I did my 4-year degree. And I'm like, awesome, ready to take on the world. And I went and worked for a international Fortune 500 company. And I know when I started my degree program, one of my goals was I want to be the CEO of an international corporation. And so I started at the bottom, like everybody does in their corporate jobs. And it took me about 2 years to realize, you know what, this is not working for me. This is not what I want.
Yep.
And so I left that big corporate job and went to small corporate, right? I figure, okay, we're going to be a little closer to the top, because I knew
you can make a bigger impact, raise, more opportunity to raise up. And there's still great income to make, great opportunities there, great cultures. Yeah. Absolutely.
Totally. And you know what I found, David, was it was just more of the same. I was just in the same office scale as the CEO instead of a different country, right?
That's exactly
just a smaller scale. And I recognized, you know what, this is not going to help me fulfill my career, my dreams, personally or professionally. So, I resigned. I didn't know what I was going to do. And it's actually kind of a funny story, because my sales manager was 3 hours north of where I am living now. And I actually had to drive because I wasn't going to just send an email or a phone call. I figured, pay some respect and have a face-to-face meeting while I'm about to resign. And it was, I drove 3 hours north, and it was April 1st. And I sit down with my manager and I say, listen, this is not working for me. Here's my resignation. Thanks for the opportunity. He's like, you know what, Stacey, this was a long way to go for an April Fool's joke. I don't really appreciate it. Like,
that's hilarious.
No, it's no joke. It's no joke. Yeah. And I didn't know what I was going to do, David. I just knew it wasn't that. And lucky for me,
I've had a lot of friends do that, actually. Yeah. And, because it there's nothing wrong with working hard at a
Mm-hmm.
company, right? There's absolutely no, it's noble. There's good grit involved there, but it's not for everybody. And it's interesting when people go and they get educated or they're passionate about one field and then they really find their heart's not into it. So how do they shift? And sometimes there's a lot of people kind of floating until something clicks, right? And then once it clicks, you go after it much more passionately than you ever did the first one.
Yeah, you got to find a place where you thrive, and that's where you're going to do the most good. So, and that's what I did. I was lucky that a friend of mine heard I'd quit my job. He wanted to start a marketing agency, and that's what we did. My very first business with my partner at the time was our boutique marketing agency. Started as Kitchen Table, and our very first conversation as partners was, "All right, Stacey, we have enough money in the bank account to pay both of us for the next 3 months. After that, we only have enough money in the bank account to pay one of us." So, read between the lines there. What's the story going to tell us?
Absolutely.
Right.
And so you had to hit the ground running right away.
We did. And we never.
So how did you do it? Like, how did you bootstrap it? Did you borrow money right away, or like after that 3 month, or did you just hit the ground, calling everybody, stopping in places, developing marketing trends and services?
It was full on guerrilla. But you know what? We were both professionals before entrepreneurs, so we had a pretty good network. And what we found was the best place to start your business is kind of doing the job you were already doing. So I was in sales and marketing in a particular industry. So all I did was really transition careers, leverage all of the contacts I already had, and said, "Hey, I've made a career change. Is this something that either you or your company needs? Or do you know of somebody who needs to do these things?"
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So we just went out and got a lot of different contracts doing what we were probably going to be doing as employees anyway. So we actually took,
and that's exciting because then it's yours, right? And then it's yours. Yeah, exactly. And the good part, because I did that in the late 90s too, started my own place. And I'll tell you that it's exhilarating. I remember a buddy of mine who had done it a couple of years before me saying, it's going to be a little anxiety inducing when you're like sitting around and the phone's not ringing because there's no paycheck after the when the weekends. Like, you've got to make things happen, and that fire it's exhilarating, isn't it? Like it is. There's something about having to make something happen, right?
Yeah. It definitely lights you up. But like you said, going back to, if you find the thing that you will thrive about, it lights you up in ways nothing else can. And at that stage, even though it's stressful and it's hectic and there's anxiety attached to it, I wouldn't trade that type of feeling for the dullness and the anxiety I get from doing something I wouldn't be enjoying doing.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
I love it. So how did that, when you built that up, how did you make the transition over to LiveLingua?
So we're going back 20 plus years now. So that agency, in my first venture into entrepreneurship, we grew that agency to multiple offices across North America. And I decided I need to take a different direction. And we were a boutique marketing agency. So we are always selling our ideas, right? On how to grow companies, create products. We're always selling our best ideas. And I felt it was just a lose-lose proposition for us and the clients who we're working with, because we were never going to make more than the retainers we were collecting. And our customers were only going to get the best ideas for as long as we could. And it was just, you were always struggling to put on more new clients to replace the clients we're going to lose inevitably. That's just the agency model.
Yep. And it's the attrition model, right?
It is.
Absolutely.
Right? You're just managing turnover, not growth. And I said, listen, if we're this good at marketing and growing companies, I get that we can sell those ideas and knowledge, but why don't we just do it for ourselves? And I did pitch this to our partners at the time. They weren't necessarily comfortable with it. And I said, listen, let's just go out and buy companies and grow these businesses and scale them for ourselves instead of for somebody else. And you know what? We just couldn't come to a consensus.
The M&A approach. Yeah. It's almost
absolutely.
It's the sister version of the franchise model, right? This is the acquire, build it up, flip it, sell it, or just keep it as an asset
Exactly.
and then move on to the
Yeah,
next. It's a great model.
exactly.
It's a
Yeah.
great model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my partners weren't on board with that. I decided to go that direction. So, we had an amicable split, and I decided to jump in buying and selling companies for myself. So fast forward 20 years, I was involved in a venture company, and they had acquired LiveLingua. And I was actually meant to just build the sales and marketing team for this business to scale it. But I'll tell you what, when I started working with the team they already had in place, the types of clients that we got to serve and how we get to serve them, I absolutely fell in love with what the company does. And we're always planning to exit the co-founders, as I mentioned. And I said, hey, listen, I love the company. We all know each other. We have great relationships. I think I would be the best candidate to take over as CEO. So that's what we did 2.5 years ago. I exited the co-founders. They're still involved in the company in a board
Sure.
role, but took over
Advisory
as CEO.
capacity, right? Like,
Exactly. Yeah, they're still very involved. And so I took over as CEO. And it
that's
reminded
phenomenal.
me, right? The anchor to all of this, David, was it happened to me 25 years ago, because I had the chance to experience what we do at LiveLingua 25 years before it ever existed. Because I had
Right.
done a student exchange in Germany with the university I was going to school at. So I had taken German classes for 2 years, and then I had a chance to do an exchange for 3 months in Germany. I'll tell you, I learned more German in the 3 months I was living in Germany than I did in 2 years
Absolutely.
of study. And then when we found
It's
LiveLingua,
something
I'm
about
like,
being immersed in the culture, right? Like
that's it.
everything from ordering food to where's the restroom
Yeah,
to getting transportation, everything, you are just completely immersed. And you have to
exactly.
you
Yeah,
start to think in German. Like you start to think in the language as opposed to thinking in English and going, how would I translate it? It like
yeah.
once you get immersed, you just start to think that way. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
you move from the transactional side of language to
Right.
transformational, where you're understanding the culture and right the background of the language. And so when I found LiveLingua, I'm like, yes, I've experienced that myself personally. Although I haven't built the company around that, I fell in love with what we do because that's exactly what I experienced 20 plus years ago.
That's phenomenal. That's
Yeah.
great. So what is the space like? What is the online coaching language translation? What does that space look like? Who are your main competitors? What makes you guys different? These are questions I'm sure listeners would be thinking to themselves.
Yeah, you bet. The language space it is literally the Wild West again when it comes
Yeah.
to language services and learning, because of technology has really driven this in a totally different direction. So for many many years, the only way to get language training was through a private tutor, right? Either through university, an educational institution, some
Yep.
freelance or contractors, and that was the model for many 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 years. Then, of course, now we've got technology that can facilitate the transactional side of learning a language, vocabulary and grammar, flashcards, that kind of stuff. So when we're talking about competitors, there's the unicorns in our space, and we all know them. They're Duolingo, they're Babbel. These are the billion-dollar companies that are doing this at the technology level. And then, of course, we also have other competitors like Baselang or italki who also do live tutoring. And then, of course, the continuum is so widespread. You could consider freelancers and contractors direct competitors
Right.
working with us, that type of space. But what we found over the last certainly 3 years, and it's even heating up more, is the pendulum has swung so far away to the left on technology, and that we're starting to see the pendulum starting to swing back, because what happens is people want relationships, they want connection. If COVID has proven
Yeah.
anything to us, it's that we do crave human interaction at some level.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
language learning is no different. So when we look at technology and how the pendulum has swung so far left is starting to swing back, is there's going to be a hybrid model of transactional learning through tools, whether it's AI or something different, and the live human interaction through live tutoring. So what we're also experiencing is that there is so many more people because of technology who can take advantage of language learning. It's 1,000 times more accessible today than it ever has been because of technology. So we're super grateful for that.
Yeah, and people can access LiveLingua and some of the other online technologies, but they can do it from anywhere. So
Yeah.
really, the world is your target customer profile, right? Like literally anyone, anywhere that wants to learn a second language, right? And that has access to technology. And then what's your model? Like, if I wanted to learn Italian, like you have live tutors, you've got resources that I would study and then practice with them one-on-one. Is that how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. And the way we like to refer to it is full stack language platform.
Ah, okay. Walk us through that. What do you mean by that?
So the full stack language learning platform is really centered by live tutoring with native speakers of the language you're looking to learn, like Italian, who are also professional teachers. Okay? I think that's a key differentiator.
That is a key differentiator. Right? Yeah.
I could try and teach English because I'm a native English speaker, but I'm not a professional teacher. So there's a big difference when it comes to generating results for the student. So it is all centered around live tutoring. But what we do is now we supplement that with different AI tools. For example, we just launched an AI language tutor where we can actually practice conversations with our mobile device, like my phone, and it will talk back in real time about real topics. Right. So there's some practice elements, but we can literally.
So do you guys have a mobile app, or do you get it through your site? You set it up through the site.
You bet. So everybody's registered through our site, but it is downloaded directly to your phone. So it's a take with you anywhere, because that's where the pendulum is swung. Is it's super difficult to get your live tutor on at 3:00 in the morning when you just happen to be up and can't sleep. Right. You're limited by time. But how do you access your live tutor? Through your phone 24/7? Well, this is one way we can do that. Because let's face it, live tutoring is not for everybody because it can be expensive by comparison. But if I only need 1 or 2 hours with a live tutor to really get a handle on basics and instruction, and then I can take all of the practice, which is the transactional side of language, I can take all of the practice offline, then come back to my live tutor improved for my next lesson. So we use AI language tutor to do that. And then, of course, we have all sorts of evergreen materials like videos and PDFs and that type of stuff.
That's phenomenal. Now, I was taking a look at your site earlier, and the pricing was really reasonable. Like, it wasn't bad at all. Like you have like live tutors, $27 an hour or something like that. Like, that's really good. That's not bad at all.
Live tutoring is definitely accessible for sure. Absolutely.
But you don't need it all the time, right? Especially as you're working through and doing the push-ups, so that you can develop, connect the synapses in your mind so that you start to think like that. So
and that's a perfect analogy, David, because if you think of, I want a healthy body, so I need to go work out. I don't need a personal trainer by the hour sitting there with me every single day, every hour that I work out. I just might need them once a week, give me some tips and tricks, show me a little bit what I'm doing wrong, maybe point me more in the direction of where my goals want to go. And I can take that 1 hour lesson from my personal trainer and then apply that to my workouts all week long. And this exact same with the full stack language platform is I just have that 1 hour with my tutor, something that my device is never going to be able to teach me, something I'm never going to learn from a video, but they can give me the basics in the direction of, hey, your goals are this, so let's move in that direction. Now go practice that using the AI language tutor, try these exercises and do this homework.
That's phenomenal. Do you find, let me ask you this generally, do you find, is there a chasm, when you think about like technology adoption, you've got, early adopters, you've got pioneers, right? And then you've got early adopters, the early majority, so, later majority, and then you've got like the laggards in terms of technology. They're still upset that we don't have like dial tone phones, and they're still going to be around forever. But is there something similar to learning a language? Like, do they have to get over a certain hump, or do they start with excitement and then they hit that plateau, and then you guys focus on getting them through that, because then that early adoption happens, that vast majority? it kind of starts to stick? I was just curious
Yeah,
in general.
yeah, absolutely. And I think technology has been the enabler for that. So
Yeah,
with AI and all the apps that are available on all our devices, it's brought a lot more people to language learning who otherwise wouldn't even consider it. But
right.
where the chasm is that you're talking about is the illusion of learning a language and when the realization happens. So to give you an example, we do get lots of students who come to us from apps saying, I have an 800-day streak in Spanish, but then I went down to Mexico on my vacation and I
Right. I
realized
couldn't
I
speak a
can't
lick
speak
of it. Yeah.
Spanish. Right?
Right.
I
Exactly.
know
Right.
some vocabulary, but because
Hmm.
it is so different when you're looking at a screen and filling in the blanks versus hearing a native speaker speak and then trying to reply. And it goes back to exactly what you're saying, thinking in a language versus trying to translate in your brain. And that's a major difference. So the journey, if you would, is people will try the technology and the apps, get to a certain level, realize they're not where they wanted to be. And that's when they can justify the investment to jump into a full stack language learning platform.
That's absolutely phenomenal. So, talk to us about your team, the team at LiveLingua. They're all over the world. Are they all located near you in Canada? Like, where are they located? And then how do you work on that culture?
Yeah. So our business is 100% remote. So I
That's what I
live
figured.
in, yeah, living, working Canada, managing business from Canada. Technically, we're based in the US. I've
Hmm.
got management team in Mexico. We've got teachers all over US, Canada, Latin America, into Europe, and even some teachers in Australia. So we teach Spanish, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Japanese, around the world. So our students are mostly based in the US, but we also have lots of students throughout Europe and Canada as well. So 100% remote. And I love the question you asked about cultures. How do you
Yeah.
maintain this culture in a
Yeah. Like,
distributed
how do you
environment like
have
that?
team meetings with your team
Yeah,
members that are over in
yeah,
Australia? I do, podcasting all over the world. And like, whenever I've got to have somebody on from Germany
yeah,
or the UK or Australia, it's always like at 4 o'clock in the morning, my time, or something like that. I'm drinking
yeah,
tons of coffee. Like, how do you,
yeah.
how do you manage that?
Well, there are times where we do have off time meetings like that to connect
Yeah.
with our teammates around the world in different time zones. But for the most part, the trickiest part about culture is how do we stay connected to our team every day, right?
Right.
Like when we're in an office environment, like I work out of my home office, and I'll be honest, I
Mhm.
really miss the office because
Yeah.
it's the collisions we get at the office that we don't get sitting in our home office,
Yeah, it's all the
right? The
offline stuff. It's like,
exactly
I
the
didn't know you were Scottish. Like, I didn't know you like,
yeah,
got married in a kilt. That's so cool. Tell me about the culture. It's like all those little
yeah,
things you learn at the coffee stand or whatever. Like, that
yeah,
you normally won't ask in a team meeting or a Teams video call or a Zoom
yeah.
call, right? You just don't ask that stuff.
Yeah, we miss literally the water cooler talk, right? The
Yeah.
cafeteria. So that's what we do to keep in touch with our teams every single day. We manage through a DM platform. Most people are familiar with Slack. That's what we use too.
Yeah.
But
Okay, great.
we have Slack channels dedicated to just doing water cooler talk. It's actually called water cooler. So anything
That's
that
great.
comes up, if somebody
I
hears a
love it.
funny joke, wants to post a funny
Yeah.
meme,
You got
that kind of stuff.
memes. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
that stuff just makes your day sometimes.
it is,
You
and
know,
it breaks up the
it's
monotony
hilarious.
of the
Yeah.
tasks we need to do. But
Oh,
I'll tell you
yeah.
what, the two culture channels that we built that have been amazing success that I wasn't really sure how it would go over is posting our wins. So we have a wins
Oh,
channel,
good.
a daily wins channel where anybody who had a success either with a student, with a teammate, even in their personal life, we could just go in and post a win. And that has been an amazing channel because we all get to celebrate in that success. It's kind of like a virtual high five. And somebody
Yeah.
closes a nice deal or makes a breakthrough with a student, or maybe somebody just picked up, helped out another teacher. And we can all go in and do virtual high fives in the wins channel. And then the second
That's,
piece, and this is fascinating, is gratitude, is being able to be thankful for things that happen in our day. And it's obvious from the management perspective on why leadership would participate in it and recognize our respective teams. But what I found is the teams have taken it upon themselves to use that gratitude channel to thank each other. So we have teachers who needed help to pick up a class because they were sick or they had an accident, some emergency came up. Another teacher helped pick up the class and taught. Now we go into the gratitude channel. Say, hey, I just want to say thanks to Sally because she did XYZ for me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. That has fostered more culture and connection in our 100% remote business than anything we've ever done. We still do regular team Zoom meetings and update people on the happenings with the business. But I tell you, the wins in the gratitude channel, where our team get to drive the information and the messaging, has been an overwhelming success for us and the culture of our business.
That's really helpful. I mean, I think business leaders, because even the small, mid-sized business owners and leaders, right, that listen to our podcast, I know that they still have a whole handful of remote workers, right?
Yeah.
And they worry about, are we engaging them, keeping them engaged? Because you want to keep good talent, right? You want to make them happy, and happy employees produce more, right? Like, it's just they give blood, sweat, and tears as opposed to just working for a paycheck. Yeah. So that's really good. So a question I always like to ask is, what's a decision that was really risky at the time that you made that now in hindsight, you're like, well, it was obvious that we should have done that, but we were really nervous at the time? Like, is there anything that you can think of that, maybe it was rolling out the AI portion of LiveLingua, or, hiring somebody that we just weren't sure of and they wound up being great, or, something like that. I'm always curious because it's something that people don't always talk about. And I think people get a lot of value out of hearing that.
And
it's okay if you don't, because I just caught you off guard with that question.
No, I've got dozens of them, David. I'm just trying to think of what is the best one I can bring forward. Good. So I'll give you my most recent experience, and it does have to do with technology, right? Because we think at LiveLingua, our core value and philosophy, it is live instruction and live customer service. Like, there isn't anything that is all AI in our business. Okay. Our customer service,
and I think that is a differentiator. I think that's a differentiator, because when you think of the other apps that are out there, the unicorns, right? It's all technology based, right? It really is. Like, you might be able to get to somebody for, quite expensive, live session. But the truth is, really having it people first, leveraging the technology, to me that's the magic sauce. But go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, this is a great discussion. I love it. And that was a big decision on our part. We still struggle with it, to be honest, is which parts of our business can we improve using AI, automation, and tools, but still helps us live up to our core values and what our students and our clients expect of us. And I mean, it's in our name. It is LiveLingua. Right. It's not AI lingua. It's not automated lingua. So which parts are our core vision and our corporate culture, and which parts can we use to improve? And we've decided to continue having live customer support. So literally all the emails that come in, there is somebody there responding to them, looking up student accounts on requests. It is not an AI trying to fish through. So we've decided to keep that part of our business intact. But where we have decided to incorporate technology as an enabler instead of a disruptor is, utilizing tools to help our live teachers. So our AI language tutor is one of those. How can we get our students practicing their Spanish, their English, their French 24/7 when they're not with their tutor? So we launched an AI language tutor to help our students, but it is to complement our live lessons. That was a big decision. And the second
piece,
a
replacement. It's not a replacement.
Exactly. And then the second piece is the classroom software that we just launched, where there's a substantial AI component to it. But it is to help the teachers create materials on the fly within the classroom environment. So technology, right? When we think of
it's almost polymorphic. It creates it on the fly while it's going on.
It does. Absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool.
So the decision was, how do we work with AI? Because it can either be a disruptor, which is how most people perceive it, or it can be an enabler. The only
Right.
difference is your perception of which position you're in. So we've chosen that technology is going to be an enabler for us and not a disruptor. So how do we use that to make our teachers better, make their jobs easier, make it a 10 times better live experience for our students, and of course a better offline experience for our students. So that was a big decision, is where do we draw the line between having live in-person, process fulfillment and delivery versus what can we automate and use AI for? And it's been the best decision I think we could have made so far, how we made that dividing line.
That's an outstanding answer to the question, because I just kind of came up with the question off the top of my head. And that is a really good, because that is a big, how do you integrate AI without getting away from your core mission, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you guys did a phenomenal job. Let's talk a little bit about the corporate trainings part, not the individual one-on-one people.
Mhm.
Now, even in the corporate realm, it's still always individual training, but how do you, is there a certain type of organization you fit well in? Do you stay away from certain types of industries or verticals? Just curious.
No, that's a good question. We haven't experienced any industries or verticals to stay away from, but
Oh,
we
okay.
are finding a few industries that lend itself more to implementing language programs than others. Surprising to me, the medical services space, massive in the language programs.
Really? Like what
I
departments are you thinking? I do a lot of work in healthcare, right? And I
yeah,
do a lot of work in finance, manufacturing, and healthcare. And because cybersecurity those are the
massive.
big ones,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I find that healthcare is really, it just struggles sometimes, right? Like
yeah.
they have just especially the rural ones, they don't have enough funding. They have all these good people, great
Mm,
skills. But is there a certain department? I can imagine, because they have to deal with all the different languages. Think of an
yeah,
emergency room. Somebody comes in. If you can't communicate directly, you have to go find the one person that's there that day, hope they're on duty,
yeah.
to be able to come over and translate. How do they, what type in the healthcare space, what type of, is it insurance? Is it claims, or is it more the practitioners and the clinicians?
It is definitely on the front line with the
Ah,
practitioners, and
very cool.
certainly in the nursing space,
Yeah.
mostly in non-urgent care, because that
Yeah.
urgent care
Okay.
emergency, you got to do with what works, and you
Yeah.
have to
You
find
better
the
already
best
know the
thing.
language. Yeah. You better already be there.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
exactly. But the problem most medical services are having is they're using interpreters. And
Right.
the problem we solve for a lot of our clients is it takes, an hour to an hour and a half to get an interpreter on the phone. And then they pay for a full hour, even if they only need 15 minutes for the interpretive services.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
it's been a grind that way. So some of the medical services we are working with is they're training their frontline staff to speak Spanish, because it just happens to be a high concentration of Spanish in
Right.
Minnesota, no less. You
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily think in Minnesota there'd be high concentration of Latin American there, but in this particular case
Yeah.
there is. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they are getting the frontline training to use their Spanish directly with the non-urgent care patients they're working with. But
That's
what we
phenomenal.
found in the last 2 years, David, the unintended benefits is the exciting part. So there's the transactional side where they can speak with their patients, but the camaraderie that it has built by creating a cohort of Spanish learners, it's made their teams interact a little bit more. You talk about job satisfaction and being productive.
Yeah.
They're finding they're much happier in their roles, and the employees, the nurses themselves, have started to form their own study groups and create their
Oh,
own
that's
private
great.
cohort. So when you think about creating
And they
this
have
learn,
the AI, and they have the AI training that they can do when they're not needing it to even improve along
that's
the way.
yeah, absolutely. So at the corporate level, there's the transactional side. Great, I can speak Spanish with my Spanish speaking patients or my Spanish speaking clients. But more importantly, if I have a group of people, now they start to feed off each other. They're giving each other feedback. They're even starting to speak Spanish on their own on their own lunch break. So when you think about what does that do for employee retention, happiness, productivity?
Oh yeah.
Those are all the unintended benefits that we never thought could have happened by teaching them Spanish.
Well, that's fantastic. So we will have a link to livelingua.com. Let me ask you this: in the coming year, if you look back after the next year, 12 months from now, and you go, that was the best year. Like that was exactly what we planned. We exceeded it, etc. What couple things would have to happen for you to feel that way?
Yeah, that's a loaded question. I could probably pull out of my pocket 1,000 different things, but
sure is.
but the two turning points really is going to be how do we get in front of 10,000 students, right? 10,000 new students. Yep. Most of that is probably going to be in the commercial space, to be honest. That's where I think we are going to have the largest worldwide impact we can, right? It is amazing to sit there with students one-on-one in the retail space, or B2C as we call it, and help one student at a time. And that student will have their benefits. But how do we go out and help 100,000 people? To do that one-on-one is very difficult and expensive to do. So if I can go work with organizations like our medical services businesses or some of the hospitality businesses we work with, or the manufacturing companies, if we can work with their teams of 10s and 20s, well, those 20 people who've worked with us, they're going to go have an impact on hundreds of thousands of people in their industry. So that's how I think we're going to have our impact worldwide, is not just one-on-one, which is great. We're still happy to do that, and we do it very well, but it's going and having an impact with groups of people, right? I have two friends, she has two friends, the network effect of that, right? So if we can have an impact on a group of 10 or 20 people, and then those 10 or 20 people go and do what they do amazingly and impact hundreds of thousands. So that would make my year, absolutely.
That's phenomenal. Well, hey, man, I'm really impressed with this. This is really, you've given this a lot of thought. I love your approach to culture building, not just with your teams, but as you've seen with corporate clients, your approach, keeping it live and personal. I wish you nothing but the best. This is going to be fun to watch. So,
thanks, Dave.
This is really good. I'm going to refer you to some people too, because I know a lot of people that are trying to learn languages, and sometimes it just doesn't click, like just the automation. And like some of them go to Barnes and Noble and start with a book, and I'm like, that's not going to do it, man. You're better off going to the local taqueria and like just like working there part-time. Like that, you like learn from the people, like, that's phenomenal. Well, we wish you guys all the best, and we will stay in touch. And we're really excited to see how LiveLingua continues to blossom and grow.
Thanks a lot, David. I appreciate it. This is such a fun conversation with you, and hopefully all of the listeners of Breaching the Boardroom get a ton out of it as well.
Absolutely, man. Wish you guys the best. This is great. Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks, buddy.